Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Nerds with Badges. It is the 4th of July, 2:28 in the morning. I am up late. I don't really sleep at night because of my work schedule and I've always been a night person. So, it's nice being off. I don't have to worry about going to work tomorrow either. I was actually up uploading some videos onto YouTube and TikTok, some gameplay of me playing Mario, the new Mario Kart for the Switch too. And man, I don't know what happened. I did. There was a bunch of like gameplay that I did, and I didn't record it. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened exactly. Um, I don't know if maybe my recorder is defective, or maybe I thought I pressed record and I didn't. So I recorded some gameplay this earlier yesterday morning when I got off of work. So that uploaded fine, but I did some really cool gameplay uh, hours ago, and I don't know exactly what time it was. Probably was around maybe 6 or 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock ish maybe. And I made a lot of progress, and I don't know why this shit didn't. Excuse me. I've been eating a bunch of like pineapples stuff. Anyway, fruit cups. It's healthier than eating cookies and junk food, which is what I tend to eat at work at night. But anyway, so I don't know what happened. So I'm just kind of pissed. So I went and basically I had been um, saving some clips that I had on. I've got a bunch of these flash drives. I just made a bunch of space, but I'm just like really pissed off because I had some really good gameplay footage that I did, and it's just like it's just gone. I don't know. So I guess I need to make sure maybe after 15 minutes check and make sure that the thing is recording, because like the one that I use, the recorder, the game recorder I use, it has a red light that comes on that indicates that you're recording, and then when you press it and turn it off, it's green. So I have been experiencing some issues with this particular recorder. So I don't know, maybe it's time for me to get a new one. I have several others, so I don't know. Maybe time to get a replacement. I've been using this thing for years, so electronic stuff, you would think that it would last forever, but a lot of it does not. So I've just been doing a $6 million man marathon on Peacock. The It's another one of those streaming apps like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, Disney Plus. I had to get rid of, man. I got rid of my Apple and my Max because I just don't have time to keep up with all the shows. But the ones that I do have is Netflix, Amazon, Hulu with Disney Plus bundle. I have Peacock and I have Crunchyroll. And I also have Amazon Music Unlimited because when you have Prime, you do get some music, but it's limited. But when you have Amazon Prime Music Unlimited, you get a more variety. And when I'm at work, I usually when I'm doing patrols, I make playlists on this that I would have it. I must have put it. It's a little MP3 player I had bought to replace my iPod, which broke down. I need to get that fixed. Um, so I did get a chance to finish watching something I wanted to talk about a couple of years ago. I guess it was Netflix premiered a movie which was based on a comic book called The Old Guard, and I could never say her name right, but she's known for the actress. She played in a real popular movie years ago called Monster, where she played like a serial killer. But the Old Guard is they're immortals, and I guess they're kind of like soldiers of fortune. Similar, they have a similar type of operation Anyway, the first movie I really enjoyed. I never read the comic book, so I wanted to go and start reading the comic book out. Got, I'm trying to like limit the comic books that I'm reading because I'm reading too many and they're expensive. But I enjoyed this one. I wasn't expecting it to end on a cliffhanger. Um, I think I enjoyed the first one better, but there's an interesting love story dynamic going on. But this is like a spoiler review, so if you don't want to know too much about, you might want to tune out for like the next couple of minutes. But basically, the Immortals, uh, they, from what I remember from the first movie, they lose their immortality if they die enough times. I guess if they come back to life, eventually it just kind of wears off. That's what I can remember. Um, so there's one immortal who was like, I guess she was locked up, and basically she was put in this like coffin and thrown in the water. She was in the ocean for like forever, and her lover, who was Charlie Theron, the main character of the show of the movie, was this immortal's lover, the immortal that was thrown in the water. So they were lovers, and the main character gave up on looking for her lover after, I guess, thousands of years. She couldn't find her. She just gave up. So now the love interest of the main character's name is Andy. Her girlfriend, she's an Asian lady. I can't remember her name, but she throws in her hat with this bad person that found her. So the bad person is played by Uma Thurman from Kill Bill. She is she was immortal, but I guess she lost her immortality. So there's a black chick who's introduced in the first movie. She becomes an immortal. She dies in some military thing. Something happens to her. So it turns out she's the last immortal. There's some prophecy, and when the last immortal wounds an actual immortal, they will lose their immortality. The immortal, the other immortal. So it's just kind of so I don't want to go too much into spoiler, but it was an interesting. It really reminded me a lot of Highlander because how they fight with swords and everything. Um, and I love martial arts. So I was really into martial arts when I was young, and that was a long time ago. So, like I said, I wasn't expecting the cliffhanger ending, and it had a lot of action in it. I I have to say you need to watch the first movie. You really should if you're gonna watch this because everything would just make more sense. You could conceivably watch it on its own, but a lot of stuff will just um, there's some stuff I think you just will have a stronger connection with some of the characters. Anyway, so other news, Microsoft shut down Perfect Dark. They were working on that, and they shut that down. And I guess a lot of people got laid off. And this game has been in production for like forever. I'm just really I don't know what's going on with Microsoft. There are a lot of good things that Microsoft does for the industry, but they've made some really weird decisions. Um, what was that game that came out a couple of years ago? Oh my god, it was. Oh my god, my brain. It was Hi-Fi Rush, which came out, and it was like a really big deal because it was the first really good Xbox game to come out in a while. And what happens? Microsoft shuts down the studio, and they're out of here, and they get picked up by someone else. But that was like a really good. Um, when the game was released, it was really a big deal because there really weren't too many exclusives coming out of Microsoft. Seeing as how Halo is like in limbo, haven't seen a Gears of War game, and they just released a remake. But other than Forza, trying to think of something else that's come out like an exclusive, like a true exclusive. I mean, you would have thought that Halo would be getting more updates. So when Hi-Fi Rush came out, anyway, it was popular. Critics loved it. Didn't sell as much, which is really amazing when a really good game comes out, people don't buy it, and then when the game, when the company gets shut down, everybody's all like, oh, and all whatever. But if you don't buy the game, man, I don't know. It's just really strange that a really popular, successful game comes out and Microsoft just gives up on it. I don't know. They kind of starting to remind me of some of the stuff that Google does. Um, so that was kind of a disappointment because I was looking for the Perfect Dark. I never finished the first Perfect Dark, but Microsoft acquiring Rare, they have really done nothing with the studio. They've done nothing with Rare, and I would have thought that we would have, with all the IPs that Rare had, Conquer, uh, James Bond. I mean, there was so many games that Rare did, man. I mean, it was just um, Banjo Kazooie. Microsoft has these. This like they're just sitting on money, really. They're not. They have IPs that they're not doing anything with. But I guess the same could be said with Sony right now, kind of, because I would have thought that we would have got a new Ratchet and Clank game by now. I don't know what's going on with Wolverine. It's just kind of gone. It's gone quiet. Death Stranding came out, but Death Stranding is also on PC. I would have thought that they would have done some DLC for Spider-Man 2. You know, nothing. Another Miles Morales game. Um, then I hear that Microsoft, was it? No, it wasn't my. It was Blade. Was, I guess Blade, was it Blade? Was it a Blade game? Oh my God! No, it was a Black Panther game that just got canceled. It's not the World War II game where he teams up with Captain America, and Sony comes out with this game Concord, and they shut it down 2 weeks later to give everybody back their money. They gave me my $39.99. So it's just really really crazy, man. And this is just, I don't know, man. Some of these, I really feel like some of the CEOs of these companies just really don't quite know how to connect with their audience, or they just don't. Um, they're just in it for the money. You need some fanboys in there making some of these decisions. So I have really been enjoying the Switch though. This is, I guess this is going on. This is 2 weeks now that I've had it, and um, I don't really have any issues. I just hope that I hope that there's not a problem with the Joy Cons, because that was a really big issue with the original Switch. Uh, just a few more weeks, we have the new Donkey Kong game coming out. I'm looking forward to that. I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart World. I've downloaded some more games onto the Switch. I'm wondering if it will be one of those situations where, I know with the old Switches, if you had two online at the same time and one was linked to your, they both were linked to one account, you couldn't be online on two Switches. I think it was. I think that was the thing. So I don't know if my Switch 2, if I'm using my Switch 2 and somebody else, a friend or family, is using my Switch 1, will there be an issue with that? They have not put any other apps. Like, there's no like YouTube. I know there's something they're gonna do YouTube eventually. I guess they're gonna do something really special with it to optimize it for the Switch 2. But there's no YouTube, there's no Netflix. They never put Netflix on their old Switch, which I was really shocked. The only apps that we got for the original Switch was YouTube, Hulu, Crunchyroll, and I'm trying to think. There was another. I think there was another anime app, but I can't remember the name of it. But I think those are like the only four apps that they had. Like, if you wanted to like watch movies or TV shows. So I don't know if I'm gonna. I probably won't get the voice chat. I probably won't get the camera. That doesn't really interest me at all. I never used voice chat on my Switch, on the original Switch. I do remember I was quite fond of using voice chat on the Wii U. It was really cool because the controller has like a screen on it and everything. But when they killed the servers, they basically made that function useless. Which is this is one of the things about the digital. I mean, it's what happened was recently. It's the other day, I guess it was. Nintendo got into some trouble, some legal trouble in Brazil for some of the some of the how do I say this? Like some of the wording in the agreement. Most people just when they start up the game, they just skip, they just agree, and then start the game. They don't really bother to read all the legal shit. But I'm just really surprised because I actually sat down one morning. I was playing a game on my PlayStation 5, and I actually sat down and read everything, and like it was a bunch of pages. It might have been like 20 something pages, but I read a lot of it. And people really need to start paying attention to this stuff because we're losing our rights, and game preservation is a thing. It should be more. People should be more concerned about the fact that these companies are we're letting these companies get away with stuff. Now they're saying we don't own anything. You're just leasing it. You're just basically you're just paying to um, rent something. You don't actually own anything, and it can be taken away at any time. And that's why I've been trying. I pre-ordered the Donkey Kong physical version because I want to try to keep buying cartridges and discs, at least something that I can back up if I need to. Cartridges will probably last forever if you take care of them. Discs, maybe not so much, but you can actually back up discs. There's ways to do it. And as you know, if you already own something and you download it, I think it's not you're not breaking the law. You know, not advocating piracy or anything, but some of the games are not even available anywhere. The company's out of business or whatever, and you can't find the game anywhere. If there's only like a certain number of physical versions of that, and it's not available anywhere online, then the artistry and work that went into that game that came out 30 years ago will never be appreciated by the newer generation because it's just gone from history. So there should definitely be like something to preserve these things, just like we have with art and music and movies. And games are like really, I think that's the only industry that really doesn't have that. And so we need to really work on that because it's just sad that, you know, these companies are able to get away with stuff because if you really take the time to read Nintendo's terms of agreement, you can't you can't you can't sue them. You waive the right to sue. It's just a bunch of different things, man. They could shut your system down. They could brick your system if they feel that you've done something with it, if you've hacked it or so I think that the companies just have too much power, and I feel that the younger generation, this is normal to them. So they're not really going to say anything about it because they don't really care because this is normal. But I'm used to buying something and just owning it, and it's just mine, and not when a company can just take it away. Um, but yeah, that's something that I will discuss more later as time goes. I think that something is happening. I think that more people are starting to care about ownership. So anyway, that's what I had a really weird dream. Well, it's like I'm going to this anime expo here in Los Angeles this weekend, and I don't know. I dreamed that I went to a convention, and I don't know. I was supposed to get some food, and I couldn't. I don't know. Hopefully, this isn't for predicting the future, but there's a anime expo that's happening. Was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the tickets for Thursday and Friday were just sold out, which I was shocked. But this was because it's a holiday, maybe people were home and they, maybe that's why. But the tickets for Thursday and Friday were like, I think they were like 100. But anyway, my tickets for Saturday was like $107. I'm like, whoa. I'm gonna go check out all the cartoons, all the anime, and they have said that Kaiju number 8, the video game, would be there, so people can play that. So I would definitely try that out. I gotta get me a harness or something when I want to walk around with my iPad. I don't have to walk around holding it doing the video, or just something that I can mount my either my camera, my iPad, or even my phone. I can do videos hands free, because I was trying to when I went to IGN Live like a month ago. It was really cumbersome trying to play games on the Switch too. Like I played Cyberpunk, and I played Street Fighter 6. I didn't get a chance to try Mario Kart because everybody was playing that, but it was really hard trying to hold my iPad and play at the same time. So I got to figure out a system. I'm starting to learn as I do these videos, and really been moving. This is the last couple of days I didn't do. I usually put videos on YouTube, and then I share the links on Facebook to some groups that I'm in. And I noticed that I'm not really getting a lot. I mean, I'm just really starting to move away. Um, I will still put videos on YouTube, but because I got 1,000 views now, which is, that's a big deal. But I don't get a lot of engagement. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. There's a few people that watch videos. Every now and then I'll get a comment, but when I post videos like on TikTok, I get more views and people more engagement. It seems on TikTok, and maybe that's because a lot of people have moved from YouTube and Facebook and even Instagram. And Instagram has just gotten so strange now because it's I'm constantly getting bombarded with stuff about you know companies wanting me to promote their products, but they want me to pay them though, or there's some people that want to be like they want to be personal trainers, and like every other video is somebody working out, you know, showing off their body. And then there's people that they there was Bitcoin for a while, people trying to get me into bit cryptocurrency and stuff, but now it seems like a lot of it is how to grow my audiences. There's a lot of that, and there's some fake accounts, but I get pretty much no engagement on Instagram. Like I like Facebook is the same thing. There's a lot of trolls, and I got that's something I felt like I should mention, because I got really annoyed by these people were like review bombing Ironheart, you know, and there was this one guy who posted something on Instagram. He was like, "The show is BS," and I was like, "Why do you say it's BS? Like, what's your point, and why do you say it's BS?" He was like, "Wake up, man! You know the show is BS, you know." And the reviews on what did he say, IMDb or something? And I was like, "Well, did you even watch the show?" Like, and he was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay, well, if it's BS, then what is it about it that you thought, in your opinion, was BS?" And his response was, "She was a black woman." I I kid you not. And I guess it was a little shocking to hear someone actually come out, because I know a lot of these people are racist, and they would say things online where they can remain anonymous. They don't got a picture in your profile, your profile is private. And I said, man, um, I don't really like golf, so why would I watch a movie or a TV show about golf? Well, am I gonna just watch it just so I can come into a comment section and say a bunch of stuff that's gonna piss off a bunch of complete strangers? Like, live your life, man. I mean, really, this is just foolishness. Like, Um, that's a lot of hate. It's a lot of energy to put into something. Why would you watch something that you don't like if you don't like black women? Why would you watch a show about black women and comment on an article about that? I don't get it. If you didn't like it, why would you watch it? So he didn't say anything about the show at all. He didn't have any like, like when I someone like it's someone I remember someone said that they hated Kamala and they just hoped that she would just and someone asked him like, well, why do you say that? And because they were like, she's a bitch. It's like, well, why do you say that? And it was like, no, nothing. It's like, you saying this show is so terrible. Well, what was it you didn't like? I mean, did you like the fact that that she got in trouble? She got some people. She made some bad decisions. Did you not like the villain? It wasn't enough action. You didn't like the city. It took place in Chicago. Like, I don't know. Like, say something. Give some constructive criticism. At least make you want people to understand, or you're just saying shit. Just because. And I don't understand these people want to get together and review bomb something before the show even comes out. I mean, it's just crazy. Just yeah. I just but ran over. Yeah, social media it can be a trip, man. And they always say don't feed the trolls, and sometimes you can get caught up. Sometimes it's best not to say anything or just like a comment that someone says that's putting the troll in their place. But whatever. Like I just said, I have not really been feeling that much of an inclination to post videos as frequently on other platforms. I feel that TikTok is probably like the best platform for me to be more consistent with. So I did upload some videos because I did get some gameplay from Mario Kart World on my Switch too. But I just can't believe that I got videos that did not record. I don't know what's up with that. So oh yeah, Namco, Bandai had a show yesterday, which I didn't even know. I think I heard somebody say something about it during the week because I watch a lot of different videos on YouTube, and someone may have mentioned it. There was one game. I mean, Digimon looked okay, but there was really one game that really got my attention, and I think it's something that the Dawn Walker. Basically, it's about a vampire, but it's kind of like a blade. He's a vampire, but he's able to walk around in the day, and I guess he's got some other powers that the other vampires don't have. But that looks really amazing, and that's coming next year. I I think it was only announced for the PlayStation, and the I feel like it might have been. I think it was announced for the Xbox too, and probably Steam. I'm sure because everything definitely if it's definitely going on PlayStation and on Steam. Didn't see anything announced for Epic, so I don't know. Possibly, but it seems like Xbox just doesn't get certain games, man. And I mean, I know that there's been some controversy recently about how some companies, Sony, might be paying companies not to put certain games on the Xbox, and that might explain why certain games are not on Xbox. To some degree, we know that this is probably true, and I don't want to blow things out of proportion. But it looked really good. The gameplay looks really good, and there's another vampire game coming out also next year. That one is I don't think it's Bandai Namco. I can't. I think it's called the Dusk Bloods or something like that. But it was only announced for the Switch 2, so I guess it's gonna be a Switch 2 exclusive, and then maybe later if they will port it. I don't know. There's some games that were Nintendo exclusives that were just awesome. And it would have been nice if they'd been on other consoles because you could better performance. Some older games. I mean, like I can think of like some games like Astral Chain, for example. Awesome game that was by oh my god, what was the company Platinum, and basically you're like these I said cops, but you have like these chains, these like magical chains that are connected, like it's like magic and technology, but it's connected to actual like ghosts, monsters that just like fight with you as a partner. And that was on the Switch, and that and I think it would benefit being ported over. You know, I also wish that I really wish they would bring over Tatsunoko versus Capcom fighting game, which came out on the Wii. It's an awesome game. It had like a lot of like characters from Japanese from anime characters. A lot of people probably don't know, and they were fighting the Capcom characters like Ryu and characters from Darkstalkers or whatever. But and I used to hate having to use the waggle on this Wii to do like certain moves. So some of those games, I don't know. Nintendo owns the licenses or whatever, but sometimes crossover games can be troublesome with all the licensing going on. Speaking of crossover, I've been reading Spider-Man versus Predator, or is it Predator versus Spider-Man? Really interesting. Definitely recommend it. Also, Avengers versus Aliens is really good. Very depressing. Um, but yeah, these I love when they do crossover stuff, and the Godzilla stuff going on now, Marvel. They even have DC stuff with Godzilla that's going on. And it was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Naruto that came out last year. Let's see what else. I feel like there was something else. Um, oh, I have a lot of retro games systems. Like I have the Retroid Pocket, and I have the Trimu. The Trimu, these are like handhelds. Basically, they're emulators that have like a bunch of like classic games in them. And one of my buddy of mine's who works he works at the same company I work with. He said he wanted to get him like a handheld that could play like old school games. So I was trying to like recommend something for him, and I really I considered giving him one of mine, but I don't know. I might just end up just maybe getting him something. I can't find the Retroid Pocket model that I have. I guess they just discontinued them. So Retroid, they just keep coming out with different ones. It seems like every 3 months there's a new one. But the Retroid Pocket is really cool because it did crap your hands though after a while. I mean, it just. I know the newer models are more ergonomic. I guess they're made better. Um, but I like the fact that you could play it on the go, and you could also hook it up to your TV. It's got Google on it. It's got Chrome, so you can surf the web and stuff, and you can find other games. And some of these things are limited. I guess it depends on how much memory it has, how much RAM. Because some of them, like if you try to run games from like N64 and Dreamcast, you know, PlayStation 4, you're gonna have trouble. But the newer, a lot of the newer ones, they can run those games, but those are like pricey. You're looking at, I mean, you might as well just buy your Steam Deck, or a Asus ROG Ally or something. All those things are now cheaper than what they were when they came out years ago. I mean, you can get a Steam Deck, for probably, if you really look around, you could probably get one for like 300, maybe even maybe even lower than that. If you look around and get a used one, yeah. So if you want something this I think that's a little bit more versatile, I would probably recommend like the cheapest is probably gonna be like the Asus ROG Ally, not the X, but like the older models, the ones that don't that will kill the micro SD slots because you can install emulations and it runs Windows and stuff. Those are going really cheap now. I don't know how much the Legion Go is going for, because I have the Lenovo Legion Go and the Ally ROG Ally. I have the MSI Claw. But those all run Windows, but the Steam Deck it's running Linux. But you can do a lot with the Steam Deck too, because people are installing Windows and stuff. But if you're gonna spend like $300-400 on a handheld to play like classic games, you might as well just get something that's more versatile, like one of the Windows based devices or the Linux based devices. I would say the Windows, but I know Windows is kind of can be annoying because of all the updates and patches and things. Um, but then the Linux based ones might, you know, that might be something worth considering. But the Windows is probably more universal. I think everybody knows how to use Windows, and it's just you can tinker more with it. It just gives you more versatility. But you know, because I know when I turn on my Lenovo Legion Go, sometimes there's like a bunch of updates and it's annoying. But I do feel that Windows is more versatile. They just need to figure out a better way for it to work on handhelds. Or you can just buy your little Bluetooth keyboard and mouse to use with the things. Because I bought a little keyboard for my little folding Bluetooth keyboard for my Asus ROG Ally, and it really helps to navigate, you know, because you're trying to type on the little screen or the buttons or whatever, and at least the Legion Go and the Steam Deck, they have trackpads. It makes navigating through menus a lot easier. So anyway, I'm probably gonna be up for maybe another hour or so. I trying to work on some stuff, some creative stuff. Try to go to bed at a not, I want to say decent time, maybe around 4 or 5 o'clock. I would really love to go and check out the new Jurassic Park movie today. So if I can go to bed early enough, I can actually wake up in time. Excuse me, in a decent time. Because typically when I go to the Grove, I go to the AMC. They give you like, if you go at a certain time, you like a few. I think the first couple of days, and if you go early, you get like a 20% discount or something like that on some of the movies. I guess I probably missed my chance to go see Mission Impossible because these movies are not in theaters that long. I think Jurassic Park, I might have probably a month I could, safely not see that. But yeah, Mission Impossible is probably gonna be on video next week. I was shocked to see Final Destination is already on home video, and I want to see that at some point, but I'm not gonna buy it. I think to rent it is like, I think it's like $9. Typically these movies are like 19 to rent and then 24 to buy, and then sometimes you buy it and then it's like next week it's on Hulu or Netflix or so. But I have a few of the Final Destination movies somewhere around here on DVD. I do think the first one was the best one though. But when something comes out and it's good, there's people want to make sequels. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not. I'm almost inclined to say it's not most of the time, but some sequels have been good. Some are good. So anyway, it's the 4th of July. It is 3:06. I think my computer time is off. Oh, actually the right time. Okay, it's 3:06 in the morning, and I am going to probably try to play Liza P on my Xbox Series S for a bit, because I'm reinstalling Tekken 8 right now on my Series S, and I reinstalled Street Fighter 5 on my PlayStation 5 because I want to go back and play through that. There's a lot of new stuff that they put in Street Fighter 5, and I need to finish Street Fighter 6 story mode on my Series S. My God, but I noticed that the fighting games are really good to play if you just want to play something real quick, and just sometimes to help wake up too. I mean, those fighting games usually. Speaking of fighting games, before I go, I would like to recommend the new Fatal Fury City of Wolves game. It just came out. It is on everything. I don't think it's on the Switch, of course. I don't know why, but it's a 2D fighter, and it definitely takes some learning to the characters. Man, the AI in that game is pretty vicious, but it's a lot of fun. So I would recommend that if you are into fighting games, and also I would recommend Giga Bash. That's the giant monster fighting game, which has a lot of DLC, including Godzilla. Just really would try to get to see more people play that game to support the company, and then it can even add more crossover characters like Gamera, maybe even like characters like Voltron could show up. I don't know. I'm just anyway. They're already doing fireworks, man. They start doing fireworks outside last night. I would say probably around 10 o'clock. I started hearing fireworks going off. So today is gonna be. It's gonna probably be crowded everywhere because everybody's off of work. That's what happens when there's a holiday. But I'm not even at work, and I'm still getting paid, which is nice. If I had my old schedule, I would be at work right now. So, but anyway, I will probably do a review. I'll probably come back with a review of Jurassic Park if I go see it today. But that's it for now. Nerds with Badges, July the 4th. Happy July the 4th. And until the next time, out.